Bobby Carpenter, Dallas Cowboys linebacker. Bobby Carpenter, son of running back Rob Carpenter, was drafted in the first round by the Dallas Cowboys in 2006. Known for his athleticism at Ohio State, he was expected to become a versatile linebacker. Instead, his NFL career became a synonym for underachievement. Carpenter struggled to win a starting job and was often relegated to special teams. Across 5 years with Dallas and brief stops elsewhere, he totaled only 3.5 sacks and 1 interception, far from first-round impact. Cowboys fans, notoriously harsh on busts, never forgave the wasted pick. His lineage only worsened the perception that he was handed opportunities rather than earning them. Although Carpenter later found work as a broadcaster, his playing career never justified his draft position. He remains a prominent example of how a recognizable surname and college success can elevate expectations far beyond what the player ultimately delivers at the professional level. Kellen Winslow II, Cleveland Browns, tight end. Drafted 6th overall in 2004, Kellen Winslow II carried the shadow of his Hall of Fame father. Cleveland hoped for a game-changing tight end, but instead got years of frustration. A rookie leg fracture and a reckless motorcycle crash sidelined his first 2 seasons, breeding resentment before he ever produced. Though he had a Pro Bowl year in 2007, constant injuries, clashes with the front office, and a staph infection scandal left fans exhausted. The Browns traded him to Tampa Bay in 2009, ending a disappointing run. Later, criminal convictions for sex crimes obliterated any goodwill. Winslow embodied the Nepo baby backlash. Massive expectations from his surname, a high draft pick wasted, preventable setbacks, and a disgraceful fall. For Browns fans, his father's greatness only amplified the bitterness surrounding his failure. Chris Sims, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, quarterback. Chris Sims, son of Super Bowl MVP Phil Simms, entered the league in 2003 with expectations of being a franchise quarterback. Drafted in the 3rd round, he flashed potential in 2005 by leading the Buccaneers to the playoffs, but his career unraveled quickly. A life-threatening spleen injury in 2006 derailed him, and when he returned, his accuracy and consistency never recovered. Comparisons to his father, a proven champion with the Giants, only magnified disappointment. Sims bounced to Tennessee and Denver, but he never secured another starting role. Many critics argued his chances lingered longer than deserved because of his name, while other fringe quarterbacks were cut without hesitation. Though he eventually reinvented himself as a media analyst, his playing days remain a cautionary tale. NFL legacy may open the door, but it cannot sustain a career if production and health never match the burden of expectations. Jerry Rice Jr., Washington Redskins, wide receiver. Being the son of Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver in NFL history, created impossible expectations for Jerry Rice Jr. Despite playing sparingly at UCLA and UNLV, he received NFL camp invites based largely on his name. Washington signed him in 2014, generating headlines simply because of who his father was. On the field, he never came close to resembling his dad. He lacked elite speed, size, or separation ability, and he was quickly cut in preseason. Short stints with the 49ers and Canadian teams followed, but he never appeared in an NFL regular season game. Fans mocked the idea that he was given opportunities that more talented undrafted players never got. His career illustrated the downside of nepotism in sports. His father's reputation guaranteed attention, but only magnified his shortcomings. For many, Jerry Rice Jr. represents the clearest case of a surname opening doors the player's skill set could not keep open. Deion Sanders Jr., defensive back and wide receiver. Deion Sanders Jr. carried one of the most iconic names in football. His father, Prime Time, was a Hall of Fame corner and cultural star. Sanders Jr. played at SMU, but never produced much on the field. Despite this, he was briefly associated with NFL workouts, with attention driven entirely by his father's name. He lacked the speed and instincts that defined his dad, and his college stats reflected limited impact. His career ended before it really began, but the fact he drew NFL interest at all sparked resentment. Fans pointed to him as a textbook example of family getting looks other fringe players never would. Today, Sanders Jr. is better known for social media projects and his association with his father's coaching career. Marcus Vick, Miami Dolphins, quarterback. Marcus Vick, younger brother of Michael Vick, was once viewed as another electrifying quarterback prospect. At Virginia Tech, his career collapsed due to suspensions and off-field issues, yet he still received an NFL shot with the Dolphins in 2006. Unlike his brother, Marcus lacked elite athleticism and accuracy, and he quickly proved incapable of handling the professional level. He appeared in one regular season game before being released. His short stint marked more by headlines about legal trouble than football contributions. Fans and media criticized the Dolphins for giving him a chance, arguing it was tied more to his last name than his resume. Later arrests and controversies cemented his reputation as wasted talent. While Michael Vick's name carried weight, Marcus Vick showed how the expectation of similar brilliance only highlighted the complete absence of it. His legacy is now a cautionary tale of squandered opportunity. Dylan Favre, quarterback. As the nephew of Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre, Dylan inherited a name synonymous with toughness and improvisation. Unlike his uncle, Dylan's career never materialized beyond brief flashes in college. After transferring from Mississippi State to smaller programs, he went undrafted but still landed NFL tryouts, fueled entirely by his last name. He never stuck on a roster, instead bouncing briefly to arena football and Canadian leagues. Fans recognized quickly that his opportunities were granted more for marketing value than ability. With modest size, average arm strength, and no defining trait, Dylan illustrated how surnames can attract opportunities that wouldn't otherwise exist. While his uncle carved out one of the greatest careers in league history, Dylan became a footnote, remembered mainly as Brett's nephew who tried football. Among the Nepo baby list, he represents players who never belonged at the NFL level but still got looks. Nate Montana, multiple teams, quarterback. Nate Montana, son of Joe Montana, faced impossible standards. While his father was Joe Cool, a four-time Super Bowl champion, Nate bounced between Notre Dame and small colleges, never securing a true starting role. Despite limited production, he received multiple NFL opportunities, including tryouts with the 49ers and Raiders. Predictably, he failed to stick, showing neither elite arm strength nor accuracy. Fans saw him as another legacy player receiving practice squad spots over more deserving candidates. His surname guaranteed media attention, but his play showed little promise. Critics often joked that his best football skill was being Joe's son. Unlike his father, who thrived under pressure, Nate's career exposed how unfair comparisons and undeserved opportunities can create resentment. Duron Carter, Indianapolis Colts, wide receiver. Duron Carter, son of Hall of Fame receiver Chris Carter, carried his father's stature into the NFL spotlight. Despite transferring between multiple colleges and never producing big numbers, he signed with the Colts in 2015. His name created buzz, but his play did not. Carter never appeared in a regular season game and was quickly cut. He found more success in the Canadian Football League, where he flashed talent, but critics in the US pointed to him as another case of nepotism. Fans argued that hundreds of fringe receivers never received his opportunities despite stronger resumes. His father's reputation as a precise, dominant route runner only magnified the disappointment of his son's inability to carve out even a depth role. Duron's career became a cautionary tale. A famous name can earn a contract, but once on the field, performance dictates survival. Ray Lewis III, undrafted defensive back. Ray Lewis III, son of legendary Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis, briefly pursued football but never reached the NFL level. He played running back and defensive back in college at Miami and Coastal Carolina, flashing athleticism but never standing out. Despite modest stats, his father's name earned him NFL tryouts, though no team signed him to a roster. Fans criticized the attention as unearned, citing countless overlooked prospects with stronger cases. His story took a tragic turn with legal troubles and his untimely death at age 28 in 2023. While sympathy exists for his struggles within football discourse, he is remembered as an example of a player who received disproportionate attention because of lineage rather than production. Compared to his father, one of the fiercest and most celebrated defenders in NFL history, Ray Lewis III never had the same hunger or skill. Ryan Neese, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, linebacker. Ryan Neese, son of Hall of Fame safety Ronnie Lott, entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent with the Buccaneers in 2002. While he carved out a respectable career as a role player, fans often pointed to his name as the reason he stuck around. Neese never became a defensive leader, mostly contributing on special teams and as a backup linebacker. Over 6 seasons in Tampa Bay, he recorded modest tackle numbers but never approached star status. Critics argued that countless undrafted players never received the patience he did. Comparisons to his father, one of the toughest and most dominant safeties in league history, only made his career look smaller. Though Neese eventually transitioned successfully into broadcasting and community work, As a player, he was given more opportunities than his actual performance warranted. Anthony Dorsett Jr., Houston Oilers and Oakland Raiders, defensive back. Anthony Dorsett Jr., son of Hall of Fame running back Tony Dorsett, entered the league as a sixth-round pick in 1996. Though he lasted 7 seasons with the Oilers and Raiders, his career was defined by mediocrity. Unlike his father, who dazzled with elite speed and vision, Anthony struggled to make consistent plays. Fans often questioned whether his extended tenure was tied more to his father's reputation than his production. While he appeared in 2 Super Bowls with Oakland, his role was minor, and his performance never matched the spotlight his surname created. Critics argued that he received opportunities beyond what late-round picks usually get, benefiting from the legacy association. Anthony Dorsett Jr.'s career wasn't disastrous, but it was forgettable, and that forgettability, juxtaposed with his father's legendary career, exemplified how his name carried more than his talent delivered. Casey Matthews, Philadelphia Eagles, linebacker. Casey Matthews, son of Clay Matthews Jr., and brother of Clay Matthews III, entered the NFL with high expectations tied to the famed Matthews family. Drafted by the Eagles in 2011, he was quickly thrust into a starting linebacker role. Unfortunately, his lack of speed and strength was exposed, and he was benched after only a few games. Though he stuck in the league for several seasons as a depth player with the Eagles and later Vikings, he never became more than a rotational linebacker. Fans often cited him as a case of nepotism, arguing that his draft selection was influenced more by his family's NFL dynasty than his actual ability. Compared to his brother Clay, who became a Pro Bowl star in Green Bay, Casey's career looked like a reminder of how a famous last name can elevate draft stock undeservedly. For Eagles fans, he remains a symbol of unmet expectations. David Grayson Jr., Colts/Browns defensive back. David Grayson Jr., son of former Pro Bowl defensive back David Grayson Sr., followed his father into the league in the late 1980s. Drafted by the Colts, he later played for the Browns, but his career never took off. Used primarily as a backup defensive back and special teamer, he never developed into a reliable starter. Critics argued that his draft selection was boosted by his father's reputation as a hard-hitting defensive back from the AFL era. Grayson Jr.'s career lasted a handful of seasons, but he failed to make a significant mark statistically or in team impact. Compared to his father's legacy, his NFL tenure looked pedestrian and uninspired. His story shows how second-generation players can enter the league with built-in opportunities, only to prove average once they get there. He remains a footnote in Browns and Colts history, remembered more for his lineage than his play. Max McCaffrey, multiple teams wide receiver. Max McCaffrey, son of former Broncos receiver Ed McCaffrey and older brother of Christian McCaffrey, entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent in 2016. While Christian became a superstar, Max bounced across rosters including the Raiders, Packers, and Jaguars, but never produced in regular season action. His last name gave him multiple chances, but he failed to stick anywhere, recording only 1 career catch. Fans often pointed to him as the least accomplished member of a football dynasty, his career propped up by constant practice squad opportunities tied to his family. While his brother Christian thrived as one of the best running backs of his generation, Max faded quickly, making the contrast even starker. Without his last name, it is unlikely he would have received so many chances. He represents the downside of family connections in professional football. Kevin Matthews, Tennessee Titans, center. Kevin Matthews, son of Hall of Famer Bruce Matthews, entered the NFL in 2010 as an undrafted free agent. The Titans, the same franchise where his father played, signed him, fueling immediate skepticism about favoritism. Kevin spent several seasons bouncing between the Titans, Redskins, and Panthers, but he started only a handful of games and struggled with consistency. Critics argued that his roster spots were more about the Matthews family legacy than his own play. Compared to his father, who played 19 dominant seasons on the offensive line, Kevin's brief and uneven career felt insignificant. Yet the opportunities he received stood out when compared to the countless undrafted linemen who never got second looks. Fans saw him as another reminder that NFL dynasties often open doors that talent alone would not. Jarrett Payton, Tennessee Titans running back. Jarrett Payton, son of Chicago Bears legend Walter Payton, carried one of the heaviest surnames in NFL history. Despite solid production at Miami, he went undrafted in 2004 but signed with the Titans. Fans were intrigued by his father's legacy, but Jarrett's career never took off. He played sparingly in Tennessee before bouncing to NFL Europe and the CFL, where he had modest success. In the NFL, however, he recorded just 105 rushing yards, never escaping his father's shadow. Critics argued that his opportunities came from the Peyton name rather than his actual ability. Walter Payton had been beloved for his unmatched work ethic and brilliance, but Jarrett lacked the same explosiveness. Though he later built a successful career in broadcasting, his last name provided chances but also unbearable expectations. If you want to learn about more Nepo babies that flamed out, or just more sports drama, subscribe to follow along.